Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, causing 1 in 3 deaths each year. But your cardiovascular health can be improved. Here to share the steps that you can take to lower your risk, we welcome cardiologist Dr. Ernst von Schwarz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Hannah, for having me on. My pleasure.
So cardiovascular disease encompasses a lot of different things. Can you kind of break down the impacts of what we're talking about here?
Well, the basic issue is that, especially in women, cardiovascular diseases are often misdiagnosed or too late diagnosed. And we are talking about things like coronary artery disease in particular and heart failure. And both of those conditions present in women, interestingly, differently than in men.
What are some of those ways that women might be missing in terms of symptoms that could be affecting their bodies and they're not even aware of it?
Because they don't have the typical symptoms. So the textbook symptoms of coronary disease are, for example, chest pain, oftentimes on the left side, distributed in the left arm or left hand. And in women, we don't see that frequently. We see more what we call atypical symptoms, which could be very non-specific: shortness of breath, extreme fatigue, just weakness. And oftentimes those symptoms are not really considered as heart-related, but they are oftentimes, in most cases, actually heart-related. So any kind of symptoms which have to do with energy, with fatigue, with pain or shortness of breath should be taken seriously, and oftentimes require more than just going to the primary care doctor, but in most cases require a cardiac or cardiovascular workup.
Okay, are there certain risk factors that women specifically should be more aware of?
Of course. I mean, the typical risk factors are high blood pressure, uncontrolled high blood pressure, cholesterol elevations, and diabetes. But also, of course, smoking is one of the biggest risk factors. And not to forget, a family history of cardiovascular disease, meaning if your parents or grandparents have cardiovascular disease, you have a higher risk of developing them also.
So the good news is that we know that lifestyle choices can make a really positive impact on our heart health. What are some easy ways we can start making those changes today?
Oh, if I would have a good answer for that, I mean, I wouldn't sit here probably. There's no easy way, but it comes back to the basics of a healthy, balanced nutrition with less red meat, less carbs, less fat, but more like a Mediterranean type diet. A regular exercise regimen, and the recommendations are very clear now: 5 days a week, 30 minutes per day minimum of what we call moderate intensity exercise, meaning we have to get our heart rate up, we have to get short of breath, we have to sweat, otherwise it's not enough exercise. And then twice a year, at least have a complete physical workup, a checkup by your doctor, including an EKG, and if there's risk factors, as I mentioned before, or symptoms, then you might need a cardiology checkup, including maybe an echocardiogram or a stress test, just to make sure that there's no pending risk for the development of lack of oxygen in the heart.
What about women either entering or going through some stage of menopause? Does that affect heart health, or is it just kind of a challenging time for their health overall in which those heart health factors could possibly be overlooked?
The protective effects of estrogen, of course, are lost in menopause, and that definitely is a risk for the development of heart disease. So a lot of women develop symptoms of heart disease during menopause. So it's not only a hormonal issue. The hormonal issues affect the cardiovascular system and reduce the protection which we have in younger years, especially in women.
Do people come to you with questions about GLP-1s and their potential impacts on heart health? Maybe they're thinking, if I lose weight, my body will be healthier. Will that make my heart healthier too?
Absolutely, in two ways. Number one is if you're overweight or obese, of course, losing weight is beneficial for the heart and cardiovascular system. Number two is that the medication class you mentioned have been tested in several studies since 2016, actually, and every single study which has been done looking at cardiovascular outcomes have shown benefit. So it's a good thing. Independent on the weight loss, the GLP-1s have shown positive outcomes with regard to cardiovascular events. So it's a good thing to take them.
Hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Doctor. It was nice chatting with you.
Same here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of
All the
course.
best.
We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.